Bullying is a severe and costly problem that plagues our Australian workplaces each year. The unprecedented integration of social media only making it worse. Currently, an estimated 67% of workplaces have active bullying occurring. This incredibly high statistic means almost anybody can be affected, although it is slightly more likely to be a female bullying another female. Bullying can begin in the most harmless of activities, but once it is established, it is increasingly more and more difficult to get rid of. A bully is 58.2% more likely to be a boss or superior. This goes back to the schoolyard, where often it was the biggest kid who would be the most aggressive. The mentality comes from the sense of entitlement that superiority breeds, solidifying the harmful notion that in order for somebody to be higher, somebody else has to set the precedent of what lower is. This idea is incredibly damaging to industries, as 72.2% of surveyed people who said they had been bullied within a workplace quit their job, creating a huge negative effect on a business's ability to operate, proving that it is not within our business's best interests to maintain a hierarchy system that contributes to a society plagued by bullying. Of the overall employee base, bullying can cause a 33% drop in productivity, not only for the victim and the bully, but it creates an unpleasant work atmosphere for everyone. Nobody wants to go somewhere that causes them to feel unsafe or uncomfortable. Yet, if it's their boss who's participating in bullying behaviour, it can be daunting or at times impossible to stop it. This never-ending cycle of workplace bullying without any ramification is estimated to cost anywhere between $6 and $13 billion a year. With such a huge drop in productivity and employment, a decreased level of enjoyment amongst Australians, and at such a shocking cost to business, it's no wonder a series of serious action plans are needed and soon. Bullying can neither be ignored or accepted within our workplace.
The issue that we chose to address was bullying and harassment in the workplace. An action that we used was instituting a culture night. The culture night would recognise any recognition that was deserved by employees, and kind of encourage people to also strive to obviously be recognised and somewhat of an incentive for employees to perform. Through that, the culture night and awards night will bring together employees of all faculties of the workplace, and not only that, it will also help them understand the depth of the workplace, understand that they are all working on the same page, and if they are working on the same page, then the bullying and harassment, they won't see each other as separates or different from each other. They'll actually see each other as a single working kind of functioning organism, and that will combat bullying, harassment, discrimination inside the workplace. The way that that's going to be run though is they're going to need event managers. With an event manager, it could be an employee who's already working who can be tasked with working as an event manager, which of course would cost money for the firm, but in turn they can reap the benefits of a better culture inside the workplace. The way obviously it's going to be run financially though is that they're either going to have to institute a ticketing system, or they're going to have to fund it out of their own pocket, in that case kind of sacrificing the business's own profits, but in order to achieve better ones in the long run ideally. The reason for running it, obviously it would be best if it ran long term, because it would probably have to go every 6 to 12 months, so it didn't seem like it was just a hassle on the employees, and it would have to run obviously long term, because that's the best way they would need to get a big enough sample size to evaluate it. The way that would be evaluated is in terms of kind of turnover, and also a social vibe inside the company, also economic growth, because obviously people will probably want to work harder. People will want to work harder should they have any sort of incentive to do so, and also when they're surrounded by people that they feel like they can work with and that they know where they're working towards. The evaluation method will of course consist of analysing the turnover rate afterwards, and the economic growth of the company and the effectiveness of the individual.
Our HR department set an objective which was to modernise the treatment of employees dealing with bullying and harassment in our workplace. An action we decided to undergo is reviewing and modifying current policies which would be suitable for the present time. We believe this is necessary, as in the past, circumstances would differ from our current period. Another action we believe would be effective is conducting a survey to employees on their views of how to deal with bullying and harassment. At our organisation, we value our employees' respect, opinion and well-being, so by acquiring feedback from our employees, this can assist our business in modernising the treatment of bullying and harassment, and hopefully reduce the level of it. This can be risky as employees may not care about the survey and answer the questions inaccurately, which would affect the end result. The main resources required in these actions are a HR department and time. These two are crucial as the duration of these actions can last for a long period, so a HR department will need to allocate a sufficient amount of time for these actions to be successful. To determine if the action was successful, our HR department would simply ask one question to our employees, whether they feel satisfied with the modified policies.
The next objective of our social action plan around workplace bullying and harassment is workplace counselling. Our goal is to bring in a workplace counsellor who is professional and qualified, who will be able to provide one-on-one time as well as resources that are needed for our employees who may be facing problems within the workforce. Counselling is a short-term goal that will hopefully show immediate benefits for our staff, and that will resolve into immediate benefits for our organisation as a whole. This can be dragged out to a long-term goal as we would like to continue it going if successful. Our first action is recruitment. Recruitment is the stage of hiring a workplace counsellor to come into our organisation and be with our employees. We need to take this really seriously as we need to ensure we hire the best workplace counsellor that will gain the trust and commitment of our staff so that we can find out any issues or problems that may be going on and resolve them as quick as possible. The key responsibilities for our workplace counsellor is to ensure that he or she gains the trust and commitment of our staff so that they make sure that they know they have an outlet for someone to go to if need be. To evaluate our staff for our workplace counselling, we'll be doing interviews as well as written feedback to ensure that our business is getting the best out of our workplace counsellor. Our second action that we're going to employ is compulsory sessions. Compulsory sessions are going to run for the first 3 times that you go, so that meaning that there'll be 3 compulsory sessions for our workplace counselling. This is just to ensure that everybody gets to know our workplace counsellor as well as gain the trust, commitment and start to provide a relationship with our staff. This will also let them know that there is an outlet option there that can be helpful if anyone needs any help with some issues regarding workplace bullying, harassment or anything like that. Workplace counselling is a great way to solve some issues that may be going on in the workforce, something that we need to get absolutely right.
Another objective is to develop the ability of our employees to comfortably approach or be approached by leadership or management regarding uncomfortable or difficult topics like bullying. To achieve this, there are several actions we could take. The first action is to create a brand new department in the organisation involving people who are employed specifically to focus and monitor bullying issues within the organisation, whether these issues are already a problem or a future threat. This will be a long-term action as it will require full-time employees to run throughout the days and years of operation. This will make employees conscious about their actions and its effect on others, while also providing a place where employees know that their issues will gain attention and will be taken seriously. To evaluate the success of this department, staff satisfaction surveys, turnover rates and absenteeism could all be used to determine if the action has improved the organisation. A key risk of this action is the cost. It may be expensive, yet not improve the organisation by as much as it should, considering the resources used. A less formal and costly action, however, would be simply to increase the contact between employees and their employers through unofficial meetings or lunches to make employees feel comfortable around their leaders. This is likely to increase the chance of people speaking out about bullying if any issue arose. This barely requires any resources, yet would still assist in reducing bullying in the workplace quickly, minimising any productivity damages that would have arisen otherwise if it wasn't implemented. Furthermore, we would be able to use this action as soon as the social action plan is implemented.